Good afternoon, boys and girls. What's going on Ask Superativo? How are you doing, guys? So today we have a different kind of class, different kind of lesson that is going to be they call video class. Yeah, that's it, the video class. So I hope you enjoy, and without further ado, let's get started. So first of all, we're going to be talking about the class projects, okay? So we have basically two class projects, and they are the poetry, and number 2, book review. All right, for the first one, called poetry, you will have to create, study, memorize, read, and present one poem. Wait a second, do I really have to create one poem? Not necessarily. You can actually use an existing one. So let's just put here, if you can't create your own poem, use an existing one. All right, as I will show you guys. Another option is to use the lyrics of a song, which I will use as an example later in this video. All right, so basically it's not necessary to post the poem. You just need to present it, or to post the audio of you telling the poem itself. In this case, if you don't want to present in class, you record an audio presenting the poem, as I will show you later with the lyrics of a song. Okay, so the deadline for both projects, poetry and book review, is written here, and it is for the first week of August, which means 2 weeks after we come back from the school break, the winter break. Okay, well, so the second project is the book review, right? So in this project, you need to write a review for a book, comic book, or manga of your choice. For this review actually doesn't need to be presented, different from the poetry. The poem is going to be only presented, while the book review is just going to be written or typed in the computer, okay? And it must be posted at Ask's portal. So I'm going to be opening up 2 sections attached to this video class, and you're going to be linking and posting either your poems or your book reviews, or both of them, for those who want to have the best grades. All right, well, so let's get going for how can we do it. All right, well, let's go for 3 options here. Okay, option number 1, let's start talking about the poetry. Okay, for the poetry, well, we basically have 3 options. We can create our poem, we can get an existing one, or use the lyrics of a song. Okay, well, let's see. I'm gonna get one existing poem as an example. Let me choose one here. Okay, not this one. These poems I'm getting here are from the game Doki Doki Simulator. Great game. No, this one's really cute. The name of this poem is Dear Sunshine, and as the name suggests, it talks about the sunshine, right? So I'm gonna read it for you guys. Okay. Dear sunshine, the way you glow through my blinds in the morning, it makes me feel like you missed me. kissed my forehead to help me out of bed, making me rub the sleepy from my eyes. Are you asking me to come out and play? Are you trusting me to wish away a rainy day? I look above, the sky is blue. It's a secret, but I trust you too. If it wasn't for you, I could sleep forever. But I'm not mad. I want breakfast. Well, this poem here is from the game Doki Doki Simulator. This is Sayori's poem, and it talks about sunshine, how the useful part of sunshine in our lives, all right? Well, a second example here for poems, I'm gonna be with the lyrics of a song. The song is called Between Angels and Insects, and I'm gonna be reading this for you guys, okay? So you can use a song instead of poem, okay? Between angels and insects. There's no money, there's no possessions, only obsessions. I don't need those things. Take my money, take my possessions. I just wanna be heard. Loud and clear are my words. Coming from within, tell me what you heard. It's about a revolution in your heart, in your mind, till you find a conclusion. Lost out in obsession, diamond rings get you nothing but a lifelong lesson. In your pocketbook stressing, you're a slave to the system, working jobs that you hate, for those things you don't need. It's too bad the world is based on greed. Step back and see. Stop thinking about yourself, start thinking about. There's no money, there's no possessions, only obsessions. I don't need those things. Take my money, take my possessions, take my obsessions. I don't need those things. Because everything is nothing, and emptiness is in everything. This reality is really just a messed up dream, with the flesh and the blood that you call your soul, flipped inside out, is a big black hole. Take your money, burn it like an asteroid. Possessions, so you're never gonna feel the void. Take it away and learn your best lesson. The heart, the soul, the life, the passion. There's no money, there's no possessions, only obsessions. I don't need those things. Take my money, take my possessions, take my obsessions. I don't need those things. Money, possessions, obsessions. Present yourself, press your clothes, comb your hair, and clock in. You just can't win. You just can't win. The things you own you. No. Take my money, take my possessions, take my obsessions. I don't need those things. Screw your money, screw your possessions, screw your obsessions. I don't need those things. Money, possessions, obsessions. I don't need those things. Well, this is a poem. This is a song that I adapted. It has a couple of swearings there, so that's something that you can do. You can substitute the swearings for non-swearings, for normal words. And this song was created based upon the book Fight Club, which is a fantastic book. There's the movie as well, but the book is just great. And you can use songs instead of poems. Okay. Well, guys, so these are my suggestions for the poems. You're basically going to record yourself telling them and post in this section right here attached, all right? Well, let's talk a little about the book review. How can we do a book review? So here I have a suggestion. We're going to be working with the book review for Hunger Games. I'm going to do this. Okay, this is good. here. A little bit more, maybe. Maybe I can do this, make it smaller here and bigger here. And that's gonna be fine, I guess, for the reading. There we go. Almost perfect, right? So this book review was created by our student Erika, a senior, okay? And it says, any act of rebellion that might have existed was purely casual. A Catching Fire review. This review is about the series of books Hunger Games, more specifically A Catching Fire review. And well, let's check it out how she does it and use some tips to help you guys out of how to do reviews, okay? So basically, Catching Fire from 2013 is the second movie to the Hunger Games franchise, 2012 and 2015. She's using the movie as an example here, but you can do the same thing with books, mangas, TV series, or any other work of art, okay? Basically, she says here that this franchise was released 2012 to 2015, and it continues the storyline presented in the first movie, The Hunger Games. So Catching Fire is actually the second one, right? The film features Jennifer Lawrence, Katniss Everdeen, and Josh that portrays Peeta Mellark, and Liam Hemsworth that is Thor's brother, Chris Hemsworth brother that is Gale, you know. If you are going for the book review instead of a movie review, you can easily substitute this kind of information to author, who is the author, the publisher, numbers of pages, when was it released, and this kind of information, okay? Well, since the 74th Hunger Games ended, which is the competition portrayed in the first book and movie, things are different. After several years of unquestionable governmental dominance, the people from Panem's district finally see a light, an opportunity to make things better. The opportunity comes to them as Katniss Everdeen, a girl who unintentionally lighted a spark for a revolution. It's about a revolution between angels and insects, huh? The poem, the review, we're all revolutionaries for maybe a lost cause today, huh? And also spilling all the beans today, huh? Well, now she needs to find a way to contain it before the voices in the streets become too loud, before the nation's president Snow causes irreversible damages to the people she cares about, like her family, for example, her friends, her mentor, and especially before he hurts her best friend Gail or her presumable lover, Peeta. Wait, a little bit more here. Oops. Okay. Her heart doesn't beat any less now that the games are over. It can't. She has to convince everyone that whatever happened in the games was made based solidly in her love for Peeta. But she's about to find out that no demonstration of love, the bigger it sounds, will be able to stop an uprising, not if people have been waiting years for it to start. The director, Francis Lawrence, has done an incredible job. The camera shots are extraordinary, the soundtrack's very fitting, and the film lines stay loyal to the book that originated the piece. Let's go. What does the author of the review, Erika, portrays here in the first part of her review? Let's check it out. Well, first she talks a little about the introduction of how the second film starts. If you're going for a book or a manga, you can do the same thing, introducing a little bit of the story, like where and when it takes place, and what is the atmosphere relating to the characters, maybe some causes and consequences, and actually creating the bed for some of the next moments yet to come. And obviously concluding the introduction with an idea like a state of mind. Unfortunately, you know what they say, there's no such thing as flawless movie. I'm afraid that they forgot that The Hunger Games is not only a love story, it's a story about acts of love and kindness. Yes, but that's slowly happening in the middle of a war. A war that starts with an uprising, an uprising that starts with acts of uh, defiance, and although we see some through our screens, they are not shown much, almost as if the romance is the big picture, and it isn't. The conclusion of her introduction comes with an opinion. She goes for how the director portrays the movie related to the book. If you were reviewing a book or a comic book or even a manga, you could go for your conclusion about the idea, the plot, the story, and the element it has. You could talk about the decisions of the author, the decisions of the writer, or the mangaka. And obviously rating the review as well. She rates 4 out of 5. Okay? Well, Erika goes for an extra mile where she goes for a couple of 16 pages, basically in the 16 pages, starting with things we hold dearly and the ones that were lost mid-fire. This analysis is a book versus movie analysis because major story details were lost when it became a movie. So she actually not satisfied enough with the movie review. She goes for the comparisons between a book and the movie. And this is something really interesting you can add up in an article, for example, when you're writing about a review, like differences for example, if you're taking a trilogy, the first, second, and third movie, if you're comparing a book to a TV series or to a film, if you're comparing an anime to a manga, or even a comic book to a movie, a comic book to an animated series, to a cartoon, you have all this versus ideas. Let's suppose you're talking about X-Men. You could take the comic books. You could take the first trilogy and then the second trilogy. Compare all of them. Let's suppose you're taking anime mangas. You could, for example, take an anime like Hunter x Hunter and mention all the difference towards the manga or towards the different versions of the anime, you know. And basically she defines her versus review in a book versus a movie analysis into topics, you know. She talks about the relationships with Peter and Gale after the first arena, plus the traumas, which is the section that she talks basically about how is the protagonist and her lover relating after the events that happen in the first story, first book, first movie. Really interesting. I'm gonna let some time if you guys want to take a read at her analysis. You can just print screen or ask me and I send you the file. You can also ask Erika too, but you can print screen. So relationships with Peter and Gale after the first arena. So Peter and Gale, I'm sorry, this relationship is between like supposed lovers of Katniss. Remember, it was supposed to be like a triangle, you know, like Peeta, Gale, and Katniss, but it's actually not a triangle, and they say like the relation of the two boys, you know, really interesting. She mentions elements like the camera thing, uh, you know, and events like uh, that happen at some exact moments in the movie and in some specific pages of the book. Let me take some examples here. If you want a scene that shows the fact that they are ignoring each other whenever there were no cameras around, we could use as an example the page 21 in the book and the minute 5:21 in the film, where Haymitch says in sad scene that they have a lot of warming up to do before showtime, you know, and they say she portrays there with the camera thing. Presumably, they had a relationship. The Capitol knew them as the star-crossed lovers from the District 12. Remember that in the first film, the first series, that was what made them go out as victorious from that event. And that's what they were expected to be after the games, right? She mentions, for example, that the audience will be waiting the two lovebirds who won the Hunger Games, not the two people who barely look at each other's eyes. It's a quote from page 22. That's really interesting technique Erika uses, where she gets quotes from the book to make as reference from her ideas. Okay, so two topics so far: things we hold dearly and the ones that were lost mid-fire, relationship between Peeta and Gale. Gonna let it here for you guys to print and take a read if you want. Remember that I can get you this file as well. Okay, really interesting content. I'm not gonna read everything to you guys because that would be like a 10-hour class. Unless you want to do this review reading, I could invite Erika to one of our classes and she could present her work, you know. Here she talks also about the nightmares and the comfort, you know. Katniss and Peeta both spent around a week and a half in the first arena experiencing all kinds of traps and betrayal and seeing terrible stuff, such as Rue, Katniss' first ally, and the youngest tribute that year dying right in front of her, or Peeta being stabbed in his leg and then being abandoned to die. So really interesting how she portrays the nightmares and why the Hunger Games are called Hunger Games, and why these games are so brutal and cruel. You know, don't want to be Olivia Rodrigo, but it's brutal. You know what I'm saying? So fascinating. Let some time for you guys to print and take a look at this phenomenal story. Okay, bunch of quotes here explaining her points of view. You know, and basically there's something that caught my attention in this part of the review where she says that in the movie the phrases are used only once. The phrases which she mentions upper here, stay with me, I hear him whisper a word but I can't tell which one, page 123. The word in question was always, and that became a routine, them saying these things to one another. In the movie, these phrases are used only once, 23:52. She's very specific analyzing these differences between movie and films. You do not necessarily have to go as specific as she goes, but it's actually really interesting the way she does. Quoting, here, pretty interesting, you know. Before we go into another section here, she also links, believing a link down here, it leads to a Tumblr post that has some more ideas about what would happen if they did in fact ended up together. It's not hers, by the way, because here she is concluding her ideas that I'm gonna open it up here for you guys. You can basically take a look at this Tumblr post called Perfect, you know, and it talks about what if Gail and Katniss were actually a couple. It's pretty interesting for you to get as a reference. We know that the real couple is Katniss and Peeta, but what if Gail and Katniss were a couple indeed? Yeah? Well, the acts of defiance and kindness, other topics she mentions. Let me let you some time to print. Okay. One more page. Okay. One more page. Very good. Repeat. I'm not gonna read everything to not get this video class so extensive, but we can debate about this history further on. I'm gonna let the link of this story available at the end of this page for you guys to check it out. Just showing you guys a little bit of her work, you know. She talks about the Bonnie and Twill. Instead of printing is, I think it's actually better if I let the link, right? I think the link's gonna be better than the printing. So, and it's gonna be faster for me to end up the video as well. Talks about Effie, Peeta, and Annie. Page and quotes there. Bunch of stuff, right? If you're curious, you can check it out. You know, interesting. Senior class made by Erika. So that's basically an idea of how you can work with your book review to let it more pro. Okay. Let's go back to our objectives. Remember, you guys, so poetry, it can be a song or something you copied, something you created. The book review, that you can go an extra mile like Erika did, make some comparisons between books and TV series, books and films, or films and anime versus manga. Put some characteristics, curiosities. The book review itself can be something like what she does in her first part. The tips here are to get an interesting title. Any act of rebellion that might have existed was purely casual. Catching Fire review, introduction, some development, a conclusion with your ideas, and rating. Remember that for the introduction, you can put aspects like releasing date, cast, if it's a book, author, writer, publisher, numbers of pages. Same things for a manga with a mangaka, release date, number of chapters, volumes, publisher. And that's gonna be it, guys. For more information, you can talk to me, talk to Erika, to the guys. I hope you enjoyed this video class. Kisses and hugs, kisses and hugs, 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 XOXO. I catch you guys next time, which is going to be